Greetings, everybody. It is a lovely Wednesday. We're 1 week away from All Hallows Eve. Fair October 2018. We are back with the Terrain of Magical Expertise RPG animation stream. I'm Chris Niosi, creator of the game and head animator, all that thing, as if you didn't already know that if you're tuning into this. Joined by a guest for the first time in a while. You want to say hi?
Hello, everyone. It's me. No,
It's me.
Sorry.
Know who I am. Don't you
Yeah,
know who I am?
No. I'm sorry. I'm just joshing. Hi. It's me, Jordan. I do backgrounds for Chris.
He's one of our lovely environment artists that we have on the project. Happy to have her.
That's me.
Yes. We are now officially on to the second to last of the donation tiers for all of the backer characters in this project. So we are on to the $50 tier, which much like the previous tier is just you get background characters, no speaking role or anything. Just a simple sprite like I've been doing for the $60 ones, except this is just one per person and not two per person like the previous ones. So yeah, and there's also at least 400 of these. So
Ooh.
Yeah,
I don't know how you do it, man. Like, you're a champion.
Yeah, well, wanted to get a head start. Next week is going to be a little busy for me. So I wanted to try to get, somewhat of a head start on these ahead of time and punch out as many as I could. And Jordan is currently working on graphics for another new level.
Gonna make it look beautiful.
Yeah, actually a new hub town in particular for one of the regions.
Can't show you guys yet, but it's gonna be pretty sick.
Yes. I actually teased a little preview of it on Twitter. If you guys may or may not remember that. It is actually the hub town of the Telluria City region. So it's looking pretty cool. She's just finishing up a few things that actually involve features we haven't talked about just yet.
Secrets.
Yeah, but I'm looking forward to showing that off probably at some point next year. We'll go into more detail about some of that stuff. So,
Yeah, no, it's gonna be sick.
Yeah. Also, to be transparent with you all, I have a really horrible ingrown nail on my left hand. So, and it's my ring finger, which I use to press the control button for most of my drawing actions, and it's fucking me up really hard, and it really hurts like a bitch, like really, really bad. So,
well, yeah, from what you were telling me, it's just like you can't even do anything about it.
No, I have to wait for it to grow out so I can clip it and hopefully have this never happen again. But it's extremely painful. My finger is swelled, and it's making it difficult for me to literally do any undoing or redoing or anything like that at all.
Dude, you can't win. You cannot win with your hands.
No, apparently fucking not. But anyway, Jordan.
Yeah. Yes.
I have been rewatching Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Uh-huh.
And so I've been on a big Fullmetal kick as of late.
Right.
Were you into that show back in the day?
Yes, I actually watched both of them. The first one, I just remember, I'm sure, people are picky and choosy, I think, about what they like from the first one versus, like, a lot of the stuff from the second one, but I just remember there's a couple things I like from the original one, but then I remember the ending pissed me off.
Yep.
That's about what I remember for that, but Brotherhood's very, very good.
Yeah, well, Brotherhood is just the manga story.
Yeah, exactly. It's like well, and that's really, as far as I'm aware, and correct me if I'm wrong, that's really rare for a series to get a redo. almost in regard to like a second animated try,
Yeah,
I guess.
which I would imagine, the reason being is because the show was fucking like massively, massively fucking popular.
Oh yeah, like
You know.
no, people would not stop talking about it, especially when I was in college. Like
Yeah.
that was like 6-ish years ago, close to 7.
No, longer than that. That was it was actually like before Tome, like before we were doing the series.
Well, no, because like when did the manga end? It was
Manga ended, I think, like 2010 or 11, maybe.
well, then yeah, no, I would have been in junior years or no sophomore year of college.
Yeah,
So
Brotherhood was definitely when we would have been in college age, but the first series was we were in high school because that was like early 2000s. But it's funny because I had completely forgotten in rewatching it like how much it actually influenced me in terms of like, especially some tone stuff. Because like for instance, it had just been so long I had forgotten. Wow, Kizuna in the show is like just literally Hawkeye. Like there's no denying like that. She just straight up and Zeto has a little bit of Roy in him, not too much. But enough that it's like, oh yeah, there he is.
well, here's a fun question for you. What was your? I mean, there's a lot of good stuff, but like, what was your favorite arc during Brotherhood?
Oh man, I mean, I love the Briggs stuff. All the Briggs characters are really awesome. I don't know. You know what? I want to wait until the end before I fully rejudge again, because like the big final war stuff is so fucking awesome, and we're not up to that yet. So the reason I'm rewatching is because Amy kind of missed the boat on it when it was like the show that everybody was like obsessed with at the time.
Oh, is this her first time watching it?
Well, not 100% because she actually had remembered in watching it. She remembered a lot more than she thought because she followed a bit of the manga for a while, and she was like familiar enough with like all the central characters.
Sure,
and everything. But she only saw a little bit of the first show, and it was funny because I was like, "Oh, like, what did you see?" And she was like, "I saw one episode of the first series." And I was like, "Which one was it?" And all she did was, "Edward, will you play with me?" And I'm like, "How old were you?" And she was like, "I was like 12, and I saw that shit." And I'm like, "Oh God, I'm so sorry."
It's just as heartbreaking in fucking Brotherhood as well. It's just like, man, what a you gonna hurt my heart twice like that? All right, that's fine.
But yeah, so I considered like, oh, we'll do that thing where you like watch the first, like 20 something or whatever of the first show, and then you switch over to Brotherhood. But I was like, you know what? Let's just watch Brotherhood. I will admit the first bits of the first like 10 or so episodes of Brotherhood are not great. They definitely, I think that early stuff was definitely done better in the first series.
Yeah, those feel like more like setup episodes rather than just like getting into like the really nitty gritty shit.
Because it was very clearly like, all right, let's speed through all of the the shit that we've already done and then get to the new stuff because that's the point of this show is to get to the new stuff, which I totally get and I have no problem with that. But yeah, as I'm reminded, like going through the old stuff again, or rather, sorry, the second half of the first series. When it deviates, I was like, "Oh wow, this was really bad." Like it, you know what? It's so weird. I was telling Casey and a few other people this a few days ago. When like you have something where it's like, "Wow, that was a really cool idea on paper," and then in execution, it's terrible.
It's like, nope, this is shit.
Well, no, it's strange to me because the second half of the first FMA series to me feels like the opposite, where it's like it's executed in a way that like, okay, this is because I rewatched some of it, So I rewatched the last I think 6 or so episodes of the first series on my own, and I was like, okay, this is entertaining. I am having a good time watching this, but also the story is fucking awful.
Yep.
Because seriously, once they get into the stuff with Lyra Dante and then on the other side of the gate is Germany or whatever, I'm like, okay, all right, guys.
Well, I also just really didn't like what they did with Hohenheim either, so it's just like...
What specifically?
Well, that's the thing. I just remember... Okay, let me back up, actually, because I'm going to be talking out my ass, because it's been a long time. But I just remember Hohenheim comes in somewhere near the end. I don't even remember the villains too well. I just remember it derailing to a point where I just got confused. I'm like, what's going on? Who are these characters that came in? Why are they going to Germany? What is happening? I don't know.
I mean, well, they changed Hohenheim's entire backstory to this flimsy ass shit that involved. I mean, because what happened was they caught up to the manga. They were like, well, we have to fucking
right. We don't have anything that
we have to come up with our own shit now. And I'm like, all right, it's fine. But what they were coming up with, especially for Hohenheim, and then Dante, who was the twist villain that they had at the end.
It's been a long time. Can you remind me of that character? What was their deal?
Dante was the old woman that
yeah, it was a woman, right? Yeah.
And she takes over the body of Lyra, who's she was some filler character that they made up for one of the earlier episodes as a one-off here's another rival alchemist for Ed to have in this one episode or whatever because we need a cool fight scene. And then they bring her back, and then Dante takes over her body, and then it's revealed that oh fucking. We've been immortal, and we've been switching to new bodies every fucking few hundred years with philosopher's stones and blah blah blah, and then we were lovers, and it's just when you hear them talking about what is happening, Jesus, oh sorry, I got a fucking weird spam text about fucking Prop 8. Goodbye, thank you, delete. When they actually explain the things that are happening with it, I'm just this is so fucking stupid.
Right. No, I just remember it's something I don't remember where it derailed, or at least for me it derailed, but I was just I didn't understand what the hell was happening at the end, and then I was just well, that happened. Okay.
Yeah.
I will say the one thing that I did like, because I really love as many people do, the homunculi. The one thing, and I understand his purpose in terms of he and also he contributed to having a really cool fight scene with what is the brother and the sister, the Briggs leader and Armstrong.
Olivier.
Okay.
Armstrong.
But in terms of the most boring homunculi, and it makes sense considering which one it is, but I actually really like what they did with Sloth better in the first one.
See,
right? Let me rephrase that. Also, I like the idea of what they were trying to do.
I also liked the idea. Okay, that's a case where first anime Sloth. That's a case where it was what I was talking about, leading into where, wow, cool idea on paper. In execution, especially when they have the big final showdown with her, of why are you attacking us? Because this and that or whatever. I'm like, all right, it's just it becomes too convoluted for itself that it's just and also because it's tied in with the bigger problem in that they were trying to fucking put logic to absolutely everything because they didn't have answers to everything yet. They didn't know what is behind the gate and what's the weird eyeball shit and all these different things. But
I would just really wish they had played with, like I said in this case, I don't remember everything, but I just remember the idea of the template for what that Sloth was being there. Spoilers, everyone. I think if I remember correctly, it was the mother character.
Yeah.
And it's just like, man, they could have. They did do it a little bit, but man, they could have played that up where it's just like you have whatever the overarching, thing is. Let's actually pretend we were taking that and putting into Brotherhood. It's like you could have had still the overarching thing where it's like, okay, all of the homunculi are helping Father in this case, but it's just like then you have the one homunculi that is the problem to kill because it's like you look just like my mom. Like I don't want to hurt this homunculi. It's like I think that could be super interesting.
And they do that. I mean, they do that a little bit, but it's just it falls flat. It's just like
I think I remember is because Wrath got involved in a way, and I didn't like it.
No, Wrath wasn't the problem. I mean, Wrath. Funnily enough, Wrath was actually the one that I felt was a little more interesting because they did a lot with him. And Sloth, I feel like what they did with her, ultimately was just like, what the fuck was the point of that? Like, it didn't even really.
Well, yeah, it was wasted potential. That was my problem. I think the thing with I didn't understand. I'm like, why are you fusing with her, and then now both of you can't move? And I guess that was the point.
Oh, you forgot 2 seconds ago that you
Yeah, that's what made me upset.
Not her remains. That would God, just all that shit.
Why did you do you also robbed us of a really cool fight?
Yeah. It's also funny because the watching Brotherhood, Amy's like, dude, this show is making me develop trust issues because every time somebody shows up, she's like, is it envy? Is it envy in disguise? And I was reminded, because even in that scene with Mom Sloth, and Winry happens to be there, and then it's envy, and I'm just like, no, the first show does that shit all the fucking time, where it's like, this person is actually envy in disguise the whole time.
It's like, you can only do that so many times before it's like, well, that's why it was so, the way envy was utilized and then eventual downfall was one of the coolest fucking scenes in the entire Brotherhood series with Roy.
Yeah.
You want to talk about character growth? Oh my god. That was my favorite of Roy. Period. Well, Roy and Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Just holy shit. Their relationship is so strong.
Yeah.
It's just God, what a power couple, kind of.
Yeah, Riza and Al, I think, are my two favorite characters in the series.
Oh man, who's my favorite? Oh jeez, there's so many. No, Roy's definitely up there. Probably then Riza. Then, so you know what I really like? The fact that Fullmetal is one of those series where all of their characters, even their minor ones, are so well rounded. Where I'm just like, man, I don't feel bad about picking too many favorites because, goddamn, there's stuff to go around. You want this kind of character, you want this kind of character, we got it, baby.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, even your villains, even your anti-heroes or your villains turned at least comrades for Scar, for example. What a great character arc for that character, where you're just really easy to fuck up a character like that, to be kind of edgy. But it's no, he had legitimate reasons for even if he was still wrong, and he had to see the bigger picture.
By the way, I want to fucking point out, I didn't realize this, and it so works, but I realized a similar, probably unintentional, but it is interesting, and also the fact that the two authors of these are both women manga artists. But I did notice something about the dynamic of Scar and his posse. Scar, Sashomaru, Yoki, Jaken, Mei Chang, Rin. And I like that because I feel that when you have a character like that that's all by themselves and they're constant, like Sashomaru, I mean, okay, Scar is inherently a better and more interesting character than Sashomaru anyway. But Sashomaru was made more interesting by having them in contrast. Because otherwise, if it was just him by himself, he would have been fucking boring for the entire rest of Inuyasha.
Yeah.
And not that I'm saying Scar, like, oh, he's so needed, like, you know, the goofy characters or whatever, but I think that, like, it's the same kind of thing where, like, yeah, but this helps with breaking up all the... with, yay, fun, and not everything is awful all the time and dire and fucking depressing, you know?
Mm-hmm. No, I get you. Also, I'm an idiot. How could I forget my absolute favorite is Lingreed.
Oh, yeah,
there we go.
He's a lot of people's favorites. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, Roy is probably still number one, but Lingreed specifically is just... I was so upset. I was like, I thought he was going to be able to keep Greed, and I was so mad.
Yeah.
I really hated that. I was like, why?
That was one of the last anime things that... Ow. That was one of the last anime that Troy Baker did.
Really?
Yeah, he was Greedling.
Wow. Mm-hmm. He hasn't done any since?
No, I think he had done some other after that, but like that was one of the last that he did. I think before like stopping doing anime shit after a while.
Wow,
yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, because I think he was Archer in the first one, who was like that filler guy that gets turned into a fucking Terminator or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Ow, it hurts so much. Jesus fucking Christ.
Do you have any painkillers?
No. It's not that. It's the fact that, like, it's just, like, it's my finger.
Well, I mean,
like,
painkillers,
swelled.
it would help. Or do you have any ibuprofen?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I have a Band-Aid, but that doesn't really help much either.
No.
Anyway. But, because I think, I don't know this 100% for certain, but I think he was, like, going to be Greed originally in the first show. And then he, like, as he described, he, like, wasn't good, and, like, he kind of screwed it up.
The audition?
Yeah, but I know he talked about the audition, but I think he was also supposed to voice the character, like, straight up. I don't remember. It's been a long time, but either way, like, that was a thing for a while, and then when they did the second series, they, since, like, I'm assuming because in the script they make a big thing out of the fact that, like, I'm not the same Greed that you saw last time because, like, he doesn't remember Ed.
Yeah.
They were like, well, we can get a different voice for him. So they had the guy that originally played Greed play Greed 1 in, like, those couple episodes with, like, the Chimera guys and all that shit.
Yeah.
But then when they switched to Greed version 2.0, then it was Troy. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yes. Did you know? Thanks for watching.
Chris, you sure do know a lot about voice stuff. I may not know a lot about voice stuff, but I sure can make a mean vector.
That's true. If only you guys could see what she's working on, but you can't.
No, because it's sacred and don't want to spoil it.
Oh, Lord. Oh, I was tweeting about this yesterday. I also decided to watch the live-action Netflix Fullmetal Alchemist movie.
I've never seen that. What was that like?
Well, to put it in perspective,
that was good.
I watched the Bleach live-action movie. And surprisingly, I was like, that was okay. You know, it's not great, but it's okay. It was entertaining. And you know, it was like, a little fun jaunt down memory lane, because it's just an adaptation of, like, the first, like, arc of Bleach or whatever. And I'm like, okay, you know, that's it. The FMA movie is, like, just, it's impressively awful.
Wow, like, what happens?
I mean, it's like it's the Liar thing with Cornello and all that, and then followed by, Shao Tucker, but then like they give Shao Tucker like a big role where he comes back and does all this other extra shit, and like, and then they somehow are like, they don't have Scar, they don't have the Führer,
Wow.
and they only have like 3 of the homunculi shown, and like it's so weird. It's like it's really weird, and like they even also like they're like only really adapting like the early stuff, but then they also like.
Is it picky and choosy, kind of like what it wants to?
No, but yes, it is. But also, it then uses stuff from like the like later, like it has like the like zombie things.
Okay.
Like the fucking soldier things.
Yeah, the white the white soldiers.
Yeah, it has those. But it's like otherwise mostly like, oh, here's like the really early like the first 10 episodes or so worth of stuff.
Weird.
Yeah, it's
Why did they make that?
Fuck if I know.
It's really funny you brought up Bleach though, because I actually, when I was in Connecticut for 4th of July, I actually went on Netflix, and of course I was going to watch the whole thing, but of course they don't have all of it on Netflix. They only have the first 3 seasons, and I'm like, why? Or however they split up the seasons. And man, that was really surreal watching back through Bleach and seeing how like far like cartoons have come since then.
Yeah.
It's definitely, because it's like Bleach is still very entertaining, but it's like, man, yeah, wow, I can see a lot of the tropes of the time.
Yeah, I think the early stuff is better in Bleach, like the earlier arcs. I think like that opening stuff with Karakura Town and like just all the like supernatural crap that was happening.
Well, and then I was also just like, I remembered Rukia's brother, and then I was like, oh, that was the reason he was gonna let her get dead? Yeah. Oh, okay. Alright, yeah. I mean...
And like
that's really stupid!
Yeah, and some of the Soul Society stuff is like kind of cool. It goes on a little too long, and then fucking... After that, like, once the like, Arrancar, like, Hueco Mundo shit happened, it's like, I can't with this anymore.
Well, like, and then what's Aizen or whatever? Fucking man, that got convoluted. Because it's just like, I'm the big bad dude. I faked my death, and then I also would put everyone in an illusion. And it's like, oh, okay, what you gonna do next? Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah,
I guess so. Also, why don't we also give Ichigo really cool forms and then never use them again? That would be cool as well.
More like just too many forms.
Yeah, well, the one, of course, my favorite episode based on just animation alone and the specific hollow design is that one where they're fighting their names start with O's, I think. They're kind of like, it was one of the later seasons.
What, the Arrancar?
Is that what remember the fight with they were like firing like fucking blasts out of their face, or the guy had like a finger attack that he could like insta kill people with or something? What the hell were their names? Hold on.
Well, were they like the human hollow guys?
Yeah.
Those are the Arrancar. Yeah, and like
and then Ichigo got like that pretty neat design for him, and then they never brought it back.
Well, when he becomes like a super hollow with like the horns and shit.
Yeah, and he's got like the hole in the chest, and it's just like, hey guys, why? Where's
well, I think
that?
The only reason he ow. God. Jesus, this hurts so much. I think the only reason that he had that form for the time that he did was because it was like letting the hollow shit like take him over fully, so it was a bad thing. So it's kind of like when Greymon becomes like Skull Greymon for like a minute because like Tai was like forcing him to do shit that he didn't want to do.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's just like,
also,
it's such a cool design, though.
I gotta watch my finger out. Give me 1 second.
Yep. Don't worry, guys. Chris is not dead. He'll be okay.
Not dead.
Not dead.
His finger is fucking really hurting a lot.
Still got a pulse. So how y'all doing today, chat? Because I'm having a great week. Actually, I'm having more than just a great week. It's been the greatest week.
Oh yeah, talk about the Mystery Skulls music video.
Oh, right, yeah. If anyone, as I've mentioned multiple times, I hope you're not sick of it already, but, yeah, we released our third, if you know what Mystery Skulls Animated is, we released our third music video. So I'm really happy about that, because it was a long time in the making, and I can't wait to do another one. So, if you haven't seen that, go check out our videos. They're really cool.
Okay, I've attempted to put another band-aid on this. This will probably not help that much, but we'll see what happens.
Can you can't use another finger?
I've tried. It's not comfortable. Like it's not like naturally comfortable to hit the button with it. But no, I also didn't. That's not what happened. I just like I hit it on like something else, like without thinking, and like it's fucking killing me.
No, for sure. I was
God.
trying to think of alternatives because you don't have painkillers on you right now. So
I don't even know if the painkillers would help, to be honest.
no, well, if you had anti-inflammation stuff like ibuprofen, then it would work. It should work just fine.
All right, let me do this guy now.
But yeah, no, I think I was just more miffed because it was such a neat design that we never saw again. And like I said, Ichigo just kept getting form after form after
I
form.
think after that he gets some kind of like Quincy form because apparently the twist is his mom is a Quincy.
Yeah, so he's a Quincy, part hollow, and a fucking Soul Reaper. It's like, what?
Yep.
You know, as you do. As you do. And then I don't remember, the final season also had some weird stuff where he had like a new type of weapon because he couldn't, like, I don't remember if they just didn't have his powers anymore, or he couldn't use it, or I don't remember.
Oh, wait, no, sorry, hold on. No, the final season is the Quincy stuff, but also, in between that, he has the Fullbring power.
That's the one.
Yeah. That I actually really liked that arc a lot, but by that point,
yeah,
the series had basically lost everybody, so like no one cared or saw it.
Yeah, no, it's like, I don't know if I ever actually finished that, because I remember watching the final fight with Aizen and Ichigo, where he got the fucking... I think it was like a form where he had like all like black on or something. I don't remember him.
Yeah,
with his, like,
Zanpakuto. That sounds right.
Yeah. And oh yeah, that's right, no, and then he like final attacked him or something, and I think he maybe lost his powers.
I don't remember. It's been a long time since I've seen that stuff.
Yeah, like it's bits and pieces, but it was definitely an interesting nostalgia trip where I was just like, why are some, like, a lot of this stuff's still really cool and well animated, but why are these characters acting and making these decisions?
Yeah, if you want a little nostalgia trip, it's worth checking out the Bleach movie, the Netflix one. It's a fun little nostalgic romp. You know. I
don't think I ever saw any of the movies for that. Is there only one?
No. Sorry, the live action Netflix movie.
Oh.
There were 4 animated movies. Yes.
Right.
I think there were 4. I'm pretty sure.
I trust you on that because I don't know.
Yeah, I think actually maybe 1 or 2 of them might have been like written by Taikubo. Because that was around that era where they were starting to do that, where like we want the manga creators to like help like be directly involved with the feature films and shit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like that. Because then shortly after that was like Naruto Road to Ninja, which I believe Kishimoto wrote, and then what was the other one? And then Strong World, the One Piece movie, which I think was written by Eiichiro Oda.
You know what I've thought about? I don't know if you were going to accidentally say it, but I haven't seen this in so long, and it's the only one in the entire series I've ever seen, and I'm sure for a lot of people. I want to do a rewatch of Dot Hack Sign.
Yeah, I've never thought to do that, but I do wonder if I would have a better time, like an easier time
Viewing experience.
comprehending what the fuck was ever happening.
Yeah, that's why I want to rewatch it, because I remember just being like, this was a thing to watch late at night. Okay, that happened. Oh, somebody got stabbed by a blob. Okay,
yeah,
that happened. Okay, these people are dying, but they're not. And then this kid's doing unintentionally bad things, but he doesn't understand, or she doesn't. I don't remember what the main character was.
Yeah, I watched it, and weirdly, so it takes place before the video game, right? And I saw a bit of the show first, and it intrigued me enough to want to get the first video game,
Right.
which I picked up, and I was like, cool, and then I played that. And then after I played the first video game, I'm like, oh, now I understand what the fuck is, like, going on even
What's
remotely
happening
in the show. Yeah, yeah. No, not even, like, the deeper parts of the plot. I just mean, like, basic shit. Like, what the fuck, like, was happening at all.
Like, who is this entity this kid is talking to this whole time? Like, shit like that.
Yeah, even though it actually takes place, like, before the events of the game with Kite and all that.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, it's a prequel to the first series of the 4 video games.
Huh.
Yeah, but it's and which I'm like, okay, that's interesting. But the problem is, like, I couldn't understand anything about it until I played the game. So, but I guess it was enough to get me interested. So it pulled off one of its jobs, right? I guess
it did something.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, what other series? There's something else I wanted to rewatch recently. I just can't remember.
Have you ever seen a show called Baccano?
No, I have not.
It's one of Amy's favorites, and she wants to watch it after we finish FMA.
Nice.
Yeah.
No, honestly, it's like I really would like to get back into watching. Like, there's just I know most of the mainstream anime in terms of, like, stuff that's maybe a slight bit more obscure, at least mid tier, that people know about. I'm clueless.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like it's the same thing with cartoons right now. It's just like there's not much that, like, really catches my interest at the moment. Where I'm just like, God, I have to see this, which kind of sucks. It's just like I think it's mostly because I'm a little picky.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll eventually find something because, like, I mean, it's nice to be able to watch something while you're working. So
yeah. There's a few that I really said, like, oh, I'm going to finally watch this, that, like, I know are great. Like, Michiko and Hachin, which was on Adult Swim for a little while, I've heard is, like, amazing. And then fucking Princess Jellyfish is one that I was intrigued by that I want to see.
That sounds adorable.
Yeah. I think it's actually, like, has a lot of, like, LBGT, like, strong themes and stuff like that in that show, I believe. Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool for people that want that. Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm curious to see that one. And then right now, what am I watching? I'm still watching Hunter x Hunter as it airs. I'm watching the dub for Dragon Ball Super as it airs. I'm really behind on One Piece on the anime. I'm like 10 episodes behind. I was watching through the new season of the Phoenix Wright anime.
Oh yeah, I forgot that existed.
yeah, they just started the second season where they're doing.
Is that any good?
It's okay. It's it's not, like, super well animated necessarily or anything. It's just cool to, like, I mean, because it's the stories from the games, so right. And the stories from the games are good. So, it's hard to screw up in terms of writing.
Right.
But, yeah, it's just, it's kind of just a novelty of, like, oh, it's cool to see this material from the video game that I already know adapted into an anime and shit.
Look at these characters I really love. This is pretty cool. Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah. So for that basic kind of thing, it's like, yeah, it's fun.
I think I've talked to you, but like, you of course probably haven't had a lot of time to play games, but have you picked up Ghost Trick at all yet?
No, we have talked about Ghost Trick. I know it's very good.
Fucking do it.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like the entire influence of the visual style of the fucking Mystery Skull stuff.
Well, it's also the same guy who does Phoenix Wright, same director.
Yeah.
So it's like I just man like if I think I've said this before also, if that ever got announced as a fucking sequel or prequel, I would literally flip my shit.
Yeah, it's just, but like that, it wasn't like a huge hit necessarily, was it?
No, it wasn't, and honestly, I think it probably came out in not a great time. With it's kind of a thing with a lot of games, really.
Yeah.
It's just also just like this. The only thing, unless you know Phoenix Wright, I don't even know if Phoenix Wright at the time that Ghost Trick was made was like huge, but it was well known.
I mean, I think it wasn't it like they had done at least the first 3 by the time Ghost Trick came out?
I don't know actually.
There were definitely Phoenix Wright games out by that point. I forget like how many.
Sure.
I want to say at least like the first 3.
Oh yeah, no. Ghost Trick was in 2010. Okay.
Oh yeah, that definitely.
Yeah, I think it just kind of slid under the radar though, because it's just like, oh, this weird little game over here in the corner, and I don't think they did very good advertisement for it, which is Capcom's fault. Or was it Capcom? Hold on.
Yeah, it's I'm pretty sure it's Capcom.
Oh no, it's just yeah, Capcom. Yeah, no, honestly, and I'm not surprised considering Capcom's had an up and down history of either a lot of good promotion for games and other games not so much.
Yeah, that's a shame. It looked cool from all the stuff I'd seen about it.
Yeah, no, it's an excellent game. I cannot recommend it enough. Good story, good music, good characters. It's got it all. Interesting gameplay mechanics. It's good shit. Fucking play it.
Yeah.
Endorse that shit all day. I'm losing my mind over here waiting for Spyro though.
Yeah, God, fucking between Red Dead 2.
Oh my God.
Spyro and then Pokemon. Like Amy's gonna just fucking own the living room for like all of November.
And that's the thing. It's just like I don't have time for games yet.
Yeah.
Not yet. It's like nope. I gotta be a responsible adult.
Yep.
It's not happening.
Someday.
Yeah, like I said, I've still got Mario Odyssey sitting in my special edition Switch over here. I haven't even touched my Switch yet.
Oh, jeez.
I got that in October last year. But it'll be there, and then my friend just gave me a $50 gift card, so I'm probably going to buy like Breath of the Wild when I have time to play games. And then I've also got Persona 5 sitting in a box waiting for me to play as well.
Nice.
Yeah, it's just like... But, this is... When you're project-based, this is what you do.
Yep.
It's like, you want to make something, then you gotta sit down and fucking make it. No distractions.
Yeah. I'm actually glad that, like, for the first time in a while, like, between all the work I've been doing, I actually have had time for games. Mm-hmm. I'm still definitely trying to be conservative, because, like...
Right.
With
no,
my
I understand.
Everything, yeah. But, God, sorry, just even the fact that I said that, like, in a different context. Everybody, when I say I'm trying to be conservative, I mean in terms of my time that I spend on my games that I play, not politically conservative, just to fucking clear that up. If somebody takes that audio and uses it for something else, I'm not politically conservative. Christ. Anyway, sorry, I don't trust the internet.
No, I get it.
Anyway, but no, between like just work and also with my hand, the condition of my hand and everything, I've tried to be careful with how much stuff I play.
Right.
But I've actually had like a lot of games this year that like, and into next year too, that I'm excited about. I'm actually finding even after because there was like. Mega Man, followed by Pokemon, followed by Smash, followed by Kingdom Hearts. And then after that, there's actually going to be some other stuff happening that I'm excited about, too.
I cannot believe fucking Resident Evil and Kingdom Hearts are in the same goddamn week. Like, what the fuck?
Oh, the Resident Evil 2 remake?
Yes,
Oh,
they're
wow.
2 days apart.
Jesus.
Like, I mean, very different demographics, of course, but still, the fact that there's crossover for that, because there's people that like both, or just like, people. We've been waiting since 2006 for Kingdom Hearts 3.
Well,
It's like,
yeah.
well, because that's when Kingdom Hearts 2 came out, so
Yeah.
it's a whole there's too many games. There's just too many games.
Too many games.
And then yeah, like
games.
I loved Red Dead Redemption. The fact that I'm not going to be able to play that game probably until next year sucks.
Sorry.
No, it's because of just in general. Like, because I have other games I want to play too. I got Mario, Zelda, fucking Spyro, like then Resident. I've got the Resident Evil 2 Collector's Edition pre-ordered. So,
Yeah.
and I don't normally play horror games. So the fact that because the Resident Evil 2 is, it's one of the greatest. Like, even as someone who doesn't play a lot of horror games, I know the legacy of that game, so I'm really excited to, experience this new version of it.
Is 4 considered to be, the best one?
It is, in terms of gameplay and campiness of the characters, yes. Because
Okay.
4 has a hidden dynamic system of difficulty that's, really on top of the excellent level design and just also the way everything feels, how you shoot stuff. And then also just weapon management, your inventory management. It's really funny because 4 was such a departure in terms of what would normally make a Resident Evil game, but it's considered one of people's favorites.
I remember when it was out on GameCube, it was getting 10s from every fucking gaming magazine and shit, and I was like, wow, people really like this game a lot, apparently.
Yeah, honestly, I really feel like gameplay played a ton into that because technically its story is a little all over the place, but the characters Leon's just so ridiculously sassy and campy that you just can't help but love him.
Yeah.
Even if the script is not great, you don't care because it's Resident Evil and you're shooting stuff and you're having a goddamn blast because it's well, and also like I said with Resident Evil 4 the difficulty would adjust in the game depending on how well you did. So it's if a section was giving you problems, it wouldn't give you a fucking prompt that would just be hey, do you want to adjust the difficulty? It'd take out an enemy or two out of a big horde or something, or an area. It's something would spawn before and then it wouldn't spawn the next time. And it would do that depending on how many times you died.
Huh.
And people never knew that until I think years later.
Wow.
That because it's not stated anywhere, it's built into the system.
Yeah. Huh. That's actually kind of cool.
Yeah, the only thing that, people have beaten this to death, but it's just the only thing that mars Resident Evil 4 than the fact that it doesn't really have great writing other than just the campy one-liners is Ashley.
Yeah, and even then, I don't know. I remember Kira was obsessed with being Ashley. I think that was mainly because she just thought that Leon was hot.
Well, yeah, it's just Ashley's she's a cute character design, but in terms of what they did with her for gameplay, the problem is it's just she interrupts the flow of things, and that really sucks. And it's it's not hard to have her not die, but there are sections where it gets really frustrating, especially if you're going through it the first time. And it's just and then also just their idea of puzzles in Resident Evil 4 is not super great. Mm-hmm. They're really straightforward. It's just sorry. They're more set dressing puzzles, in my opinion, where it's just they're not that hard. They're not. I wouldn't even call them puzzles. Yeah. It's put the thing here. Okay, there's 3 paintings in this room. Flip them a certain way. Okay, cool. Next area.
Yeah, back on the note of Ashley again for a second too. It's funny because I haven't actually played Last of Us. I've watched a full playthrough of it, so I'm familiar with the story, but I feel Ellie redefined having a you have to protect this person tag along character in video games because it's funny that kind of concept inherently sounds like a pain in the ass. No matter
I'm sure it is.
No matter what way you slice, no matter what the game is, it's if that's what you have to do to progress is you have to protect that, whether it's a child or a damsel in distress or a Jar Jar Binks allegory, you know, whatever. Like, it's inherently a thing that's, oh man, I just want to shoot things and I want to jump on platforms and go on an adventure, and you're slowing me down and blah blah blah, you know. But Ellie like was the perfect balance of like, you get to know her, you want to protect her, you like her. She's not, you know, not to be harsh, but like as you know, gamers tend to be with that sort of description. She's not fucking useless kind of thing, you know. So I feel like they kind of hit the right balance with that. And now it's like, it was the type of thing that I think a lot of games, including Resident Evil 4, were probably trying to go for, and maybe didn't always necessarily succeed with it.
The problem with Ashley, like you said, with the major difference is one is a passive participant and the other is an active participant. Whereas like Ashley just gets in the way. She doesn't do anything other than when you have to take control of her, be like, go up there and hit the switch. Whereas Ellie actively helps in combat situations. And in this case, it plays into this. I always harp on this point, but it's not harp on, but like bring this point up. It's just like the best kind of character development for me in video games is when it's directly in gameplay. And then you can lead into cutscene, of course, because I love cutscenes. But like if all of your development is specifically just cutscenes, like it's less likely, at least for me, to probably care as much. Whereas if a character is a really active participant in what they say they're doing in cutscenes, basically like game feedback in a way.
Yeah.
Because you're playing a game, so games are interactive media. That's why they're so unique compared to any other entertainment form.
Yeah.
They're not like, even though The Last of Us takes from film, like it still is a game at the end of the day. And it's just when you have a character that says they're doing stuff in a cutscene or they feel this way and then it doesn't reflect in the game, then that can kind of take it out of it a little bit. And I understand, like, you know, not every game in the past could do that kind of stuff, but people attempted. And it doesn't make it a bad game by any means. I'm just saying I'm more likely to get attached to a character where those two things are in flow with each other.
Somebody was just saying in the chat, Hazaboza was saying Elizabeth from Bioshock is another good example of that.
Oh, I have not. See, I played all the Bioshocks except Infinite. I actually just recently rewatched Bioshock and Bioshock 2, and I'm just like, perfect games.
Yeah.
Like, so good. Just, like Bioshock 1 is so good, and Bioshock 2 is really good too. Like, you want to talk about one of the greatest video game twists ever? Fucking Bioshock 1. Like, oh my god. Like, I had never felt so betrayed in a game when that shit happened. Oh my god.
Yeah, man. It's a lot of those games that, like, I wish I liked first-person games more. That I would have more inclination to want to play them, but I don't super like them. So
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
That's what playthroughs are for.
Yeah, and I mean, but even like Last of Us isn't first person, but I still was like, I don't know if I want to play this. I'll just watch it.
I will say, like, even though I'm a little more desensitized to that kind of twist now, I remember when I booted up The Last of Us and that intro happened with his daughter. I cried. I cried really hard.
It's really good.
I'm just like, and you know, like I said, nowadays it's like it's harder to do a twist like that, but not impossible. But it's just like, man, like Naughty Dog they've been killing it, which is a shame because I'm not really like, I'm sure it's going to be an excellent game, and I think it's also because there's just so many games I want to play otherwise. But like, I'm probably not going to play The Last of Us 2 for a long time.
No.
Mostly, like I said, because there's just too many other games. Like I said, I have Persona 5, Mario, Breath of the Wild, Spyro, probably Red Dead even before that. It's like there's 15 bajillion other games I'm not even thinking of right now. And it's like, unfortunately, as great of a title as you are, you're on the bottom tier of my list of things I want to play right now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know I've said this a lot before too, but I mean, like, Persona alone, like, it's such a long fucking game.
Oh yeah, and that's why I haven't touched it yet, because I know if I pick that up now, I won't want to put it down.
Yeah.
And it's like, nope. And then this would actually, well, what's exciting though is I've known of the Persona games. 5 is going to be my first one, actually.
Yeah, else am I thinking about? Instead, I kind of had to miss out on Mega Man 2. Mega Man 11. Mega Man 11. There's only been 2 Mega Man ever. I'm sad I had to miss out on Mega Man 11 because of my arm, but
it's not going
I'm
anywhere.
glad that it's doing really well. I really hope that it means that we'll get more of them in the future.
Capcom's been killing it lately. Honestly, their only misstep has been Infinite.
Yeah, which I remember I kept saying like, oh, I'll watch the story cutscenes for that at some point. I never got around to it because I was like, I don't actually care that much.
Well, you know how much I put into like visual fidelity for certain things. Like visuals aren't everything for a game, but God, if your game looks ugly, I don't care how good it's. Well, like if there's even decent writing, I don't care.
So you wouldn't play Tome if.
Shut up. It's an independent project, doesn't count, and also it's beautiful.
I mean, the stuff you guys do is beautiful.
Chris, a fucking
my
smash.
animation. Look, listen. I'm not being down on myself. Just my animation is not god tier. I'm able to get this done because I'm efficient and quick, not because I'm a master, draftsman and not everything I do looks great. I'm just saying, but
well, I never said you were a master draftsman, but I still like it.
By the way, we have 40 people watching right now. It's the most we've had in a while.
Yay!
Thanks
Hooray!
Thanks for coming, everybody.
Yeah, no, seriously, talking about video games.
Are you able to see the chat while working?
I'm actually probably have to go in the next 10 minutes, unfortunately.
Okay, well then, before you go, do you want to see if we got any questions?
Sure.
Are you not done with the last of the 3 things you're doing?
Not yet. I'm gonna come home and I'm gonna just punch it out because like the colors weren't working.
Okay.
And I don't want too many overlapping similarities. It's just ugly otherwise. I gotta work some gold back into some of this last building. Let's see. Do you have any creations? No, people talking about Kingdom Hearts. WarioWare, Resident 4. Oh, God, I can think about Kingdom Hearts 3 too, Jesus.
Yep.
That's a game that exists and is real and we're getting it. What the fuck?
Yep.
It's too many games. I can't do this. Let's see. Receive email about additional. I guess somebody's asking you about one of their characters.
What? I'll check. I suppose I don't know or not. Sorry, working right now. But if you handed in your contract, then I have your information already, so don't worry too much about it. I actually already sent out a few emails to some people that signed their contracts, but then I realized, oh, they didn't actually provide any reference material for their character.
Whoops.
Again. Whoopsie. So,
Oopsie doopsie.
yeah, hopefully they'll... Because we had 2 of the $60 guys that only sent information for 1 character. So they only got 1 character.
Right. No, that's always the thing. It's just like when you have such a massive amount of like people contributing to something, it's just like some people just unfortunately don't get back, and it's just like, you paid for this thing, don't you want your thing?
Yeah, and I have no other way of contacting them over the email address that they provided through the Kickstarter. For some people, that's not even
Right. Yeah.
That's not even their primary email address and shit. And I'm just like, all right, well, sorry.
It's like, I can't. What do you want me to do? How's work on? How was working on Hellbent? That's a multi-layered question.
How long did you spend working on that one?
On and off, close to 2 years, I think, because it's and like I said, there's multitudes of factors. Some of them I can't even go into, but mostly it's just we're a small team. there's about only 5 active members, and then anyone else that's in our group chat is not 100% active all the time, and we'd only get them for like a very short period because they'd have to work and live and have food and stuff like that. Because it's just
well, remind me, this one was a passion project. And
all 3 of them have been.
Well, no, but wasn't there a difference where what is it? I'm trying to remember the exact specifics. Wasn't there a thing where like the record label was directly involved in the first one? And
let me think. Hold on. It's yeah, no, the first one was actually partially it was quote unquote paid for, but honestly it probably could have been a little bit more, but that's whatever,
Right.
It was just let's do a fun thing together. Ben got me involved near the end because I wasn't really doing anything at the time because other project pitches didn't really work out, so I was kind of sitting on my feet, figuring out what the hell I was doing, and then Ben came in to save the day and offered to let me help finish up what he was working on because they were about 80% done with Ghost. And yeah, then we posted it and we were just like, hey, we'll check to see if people like the thing, and that blew the fuck up. And then we made the second one we couldn't even start production on Freaking Out until 6 months after because at the time we were with Lewis, which was Mr. Skull's guy, was with Warner Brothers, and of course we had to do a contract and all of that, and it was just really annoying because it was just we're small fry, so they weren't going to get it back to us right away. And then finally we hashed that out, so we were allowed to do the second video. And then we picked the song for the third one, and Hellbent was, oh boy, that production was, that was intense, because we tried a lot of new stuff on that one, a lot. The lighting was new, we were updating character rigs, storyboards had to be redone in certain circumstances, I think, to fix some stuff even during production, which we should have caught earlier, but that didn't end up working out. Or just minor things that we just didn't catch. It wasn't none of that was anybody's fault, but and then just having to do 92 scenes worth of backgrounds. So yeah. And then not on top of the fun stuff that was happening during compositing, which took us about a week. Thank God we had that week to figure out how to fix that, because there was because YouTube's system of for some reason the 1080p version was just screwing up on 2 very important scenes, and there was it was nothing on our end in regard to that. But then also there was some weird problem with I think it's Studio Vegas or whatever the hell that program is, Vegas 11, that has this glitch where it'll make your stuff super crushed and saturated on the render, and luckily there was the thread that I was able to find to be hey, look at this, maybe it's a glitch that we could probably fix, and luckily that was the case. But we just ended up bringing it over into After Effects anyway, because my friend Pat, who's our special effects guy and basically our tech support, was let's just do a 4K version because we can. Okay. So the video quality option has it goes all the way up to 2160p if you ever want to watch it in that quality. Is it necessary? No, but did we do it? Yes.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I feel like I've been, hearing about it for so long, and to see it finally exist for real is surreal. So.
Yeah, you're telling me.
But how many million views does it have right now?
3.1, I think, at the moment. Yeah, I'm really hyped because people really liked it, and it's just nothing will ever reach the craziness that was Ghost, but I'm okay with that because it's just all right, we move on to the next production. It's this is done. We're telling the story we want to. I get to see this project to fruition. It's just I'm in a very lucky situation where we have such leeway in regard to just do our thing.
Yeah.
It's not a lot of people get that, especially when you're using somebody else's music, but it's just I'm very thankful to have that protection.
Yeah, and people People love it a lot. You know, every time I go to a con and I see cosplayers of Vivi and you know, and all, and I think I saw a mystery thing recently. I forget what it was, but but I'll see like lots of, you know, sometimes even like art prints and like Artist Alley or something. You know, yeah, people
yeah, and that's the thing. I don't get to go to a lot of conventions outside when I was doing like My Little Pony conventions, but other than that, I don't really get to go to a lot of like anime conventions or, you know, just the general type stuff, or even some of the big ones like MomoCon. I've only been there once, and so I never get to see any of that. But it's nice to know that it exists.
Yeah, no, there's tons of love. You know, it's actually really, it makes me happy to see too, because it's a thing that I think lots of up and comer musicians on the internet could do if they work at it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's just like, you know, this is no cakewalk. Like if you want to do something like kind of what we do, it's like it takes so much mental dedication to just like follow through on that, because it's just like I've had people ask me.
But you've built, like, I mean, you've spent all this time like building this into, like, you know, I don't want to say a franchise because it's not like, you know, this.
Right, it's not a show.
It's not, I mean, it's not even that. It's not like a big, massive, like, multimedia, multi-million, cajillion dollar, you know, endeavor. But it's you know, it's continued forth, and that it's like it has a like major following. People really, really like it. They look forward to new installments of it and everything. You know, and like for internet stuff, sometimes even when you have like a big name behind something, like, you know, Ben with being the musician and everything, or sorry, Mystery Skulls, Mystery Skulls, and then, you know, Ben obviously had his, you know, following for his animation stuff before that too, but it's still not always a guarantee. So the fact that like it worked out really well, it's continuing, and then, you know, for however long it's going to continue for as long as you guys wanted to, like, that's awesome. Like it's a rare breed of thing. I always wish that things like that would work out more often for people. They don't often have the dedication to do that, but you guys fucking do.
It's just like we have a really good team dynamic, but on top of that, we have really good organization method now that we've shifted over to Discord. We have, I mean, like I said, I've got my best friend who's Art Lee Crescent. It's just like she is my rock.
Yeah.
She gets me through stuff and vice versa. Like, we've worked with each other so closely, like we're basically on a very similar level.
Yeah.
And on top of that, yeah, it's just like you gotta want it. You have to want it so badly. It's like if you don't turn it into a routine, then you won't finish anything.
Yeah, I mean, you know, a lot of people
look what you do. Like, look what you do with your character stuff. Yeah.
I mean, sure, but even before that, with just doing Tome for for however many years we did the show for, you know, like I had to go in knowing, like, if I do this, I'm going to be doing this for like a good several years.
Yeah.
You know, and I went in thinking, I mean, I remember telling you in the beginning, like, oh, I'm going to get like one episode done every month. Like, what the fuck was I thinking? You know, what was I smoking?
You didn't know, and that's the thing, because it's just like, you know, taking on something, especially also rebooting something like that, is just like such a huge undertaking. You just don't know until you do it. It's like no amount of
and even when I continued with it after, you know, like when we finished episode 4, and like, you know, I had to determine, like, all right, are we going to continue this or not? I don't know, you know, because we don't have funding anymore, etc. You know, and I decided purely off of just the, like, I want to do episode 5 because it's the one where Zeto shows up and I want attention because I'm a fucking idiot. You know, I continued on, and, you know, we were able to pull it off, and we didn't stop from there. You know, so it was, and then, you know, we did the season 2 thing and all that, and that turned out really well. But you know, and I mean, have you guys had, like, you know, support from people like in other do you guys have like a Patreon for this? I forget.
No.
No. So it's just all entirely like, no, we're just doing it.
Yeah, I'm not really going to go into that because I've had a discussion with Ben about that, but it's just or multiple discussions. But yeah, no, currently it's we just do it as it's basically as insane side project. I would plug the shirts that we have, but the sale just ended for those for the pre-order. But we did have shirts that we will get money from, depending on what those final numbers are. So I'm hoping any money we get from that is either going to go back into production or possible other merch opportunities. Because I know we talked about getting our plushie prototype possibly going again, which is a little mystery plushie, the dog.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, that's getting sent off to Ben to look at and all that fun stuff. But yeah, no, it's it's like I said, we're just kind of insane people. We really just like this the level we go to do our art form, as in this case, is kind of insane.
I understand.
Yeah, but it's just like we really do love this, and it's just like, I mean, there's good days, bad days of production and whatnot, but it's just like, it's can't let that derail everything, especially if you want to see it through. It's like we got at the very least 2 more videos to wrap up this arc, so it's so and that's a good amount of time as well. Depending on, I'd like to not take another 2 years. That would be great. I do feel like things are going to go a little bit better because this is probably the best we ever had in terms of like knowing our production pipeline.
Yeah.
So, I definitely feel better about that than I've ever had before.
Yeah.
So, I'm really excited. Like I said, though, just luckily, production's not starting again until a certain time. So,
yes. And until I have access to you to draw all of my fucking pretty ass. Level graphics.
Yeah, you're gonna make so many levels so that people can play the games and be like, look at that.
Yeah, and I'm very excited for people to see them because even just the ones that you've done so far. I think we're gonna show off another one that you did work on for the anniversary event this year. So we'll have more info about that.
Oh, shoot. I gotta get going.
No problem. I will see you later. Thank you so much for joining us, Jordan.
No problem. Thank you, guys.
Sweet. Bye.
Boy.
Alright, that was Jordan Lasko, everybody. We've been going for a little over an hour already. We have gotten 12 finished. I want to try to see if I can make it to like 25 or so, if possible. I'm going to, real quick, go change out my laundry, but I'm going to play some spoopy music from Sonic Heroes in the meantime. Here we go. And then I'll be back to work on this again, so...
tragic mystery. You could have left me here, still inside the thought. No one would ever know the chaos control. My true identity, the power that is me. We are destined for driverless machine. Don't know how long we've waited. As the Eggman's watching, we are destined for looking through a screen. Don't know how long we've waited. As the tries to take you, sneak up from behind. Is it me? You say you're looking for? Let me show you who I am and what I'm here for. Here for. Hey, trying to reach inside of me, trying to drain my energy. Let me show you just what I'm made of. Simple curiosity, trying to take a bite of me. Let me show you just what
with that makes 25. So not a bad start. Alrighty, cool. I'm gonna try to do as many of these little quick burst ones of like getting at least 25 done, and as much as I can, because I think if I keep up this pace fairly well throughout the rest of the year, I think I will hopefully be able to finish all of these guys before 2018 is done. That is the goal that I'm setting for myself. I don't necessarily know if that'll work out, but you know, stay tuned and we'll see what happens. But yeah, there's the first 25 of at least 400 of the $50 tier donator NPC characters for the TOME RPG. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Big thanks to Jordan for being my guest and chat master today. I will probably be back tomorrow at some point. I don't know exactly what time yet, because I'm going to be seeing some folks for lunch. But stay tuned. I'll be back for that. And yeah, so that'll do it. Thank you guys so much, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.